what's up, everybody? This is Tech Yeah, episode
15.
Dang.
If you can believe it.
I don't believe it at all.
This is when the money starts pouring in, so I'm excited.
I'm actually filthy rich.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Does that mean I'm filthy rich too, or is this?
No, I own this, and you don't.
Oh, that's right. I always forget. I should have read that contract.
Yeah, sorry. It's funny. This is kind of a tangent, but I was talking to. I have a friend I go to the park and kind of walk and jog with now.
Yeah.
And we were at the park last week, and we were talking about the podcast and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, I actually like doing it. And I'm like, but I said, oh, it kind of costs me, it just really costs me money right now. Like, I don't make any money from it. And she's like, well, don't the co-hosts give you money? And I'm like, no, of course not. And she's like, why? And I'm like, because they don't own it.
That's funny.
Yeah. I'm like, I would love to, it's not like if I made money, I wouldn't find a way for everyone to get compensated. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, I'm the one that pays for this thing. Like, it's mine.
It is your baby,
Yeah.
which means you get full creative control.
Yeah, it's mine. But okay, sorry, that was a tangent. But what am I trying to
Sidebar.
maintenance?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what I should
It's a
call
little
it.
peek behind the curtain.
But yeah, I just want you guys to know, if you like the other show, the Tech Yeah Tech podcast,
The original.
we didn't have a show this week, which is very disappointing.
Ooh.
I know. It's something I promised myself to never do.
Well.
And we did. But with holidays and Bill getting his pilot's license and,
Ooh, that's exciting.
and everything going on, we've had a hard time scheduling. It's been really tough. I started to get frustrated, but at the same time, I was like, all right, we need to focus down and find a time we can do this. We're going to start recording on Mondays, publishing on Tuesdays. Before we were doing Thursdays to Mondays.
Now it's Tech Yeah Tuesday.
So now it's Tech Yeah Tuesdays. We will be live on Tuesday, or up on Tuesday. I guess that's not live. But so if you missed us last week, I'm sorry. You hear us on Tuesdays and every Tuesday moving forward.
And I recommend it. It's a fun show.
It is fun. It's a little, we get kind of wild here. Me and Bill get super wild. We get kind of nasty.
Yeah, I know. I love it.
So, yeah, if you want to get a little adult with it, that's the place to be. But that's just a quick sidebar. So
this is our child-friendly.
Yeah, this is a family. You know what?
This is a family show.
My friend listens with her child.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And it always makes me feel bad after I record. I always think about that after we record.
Yeah.
And I'm like, was not a good host for that.
I don't think that's your responsibility.
It's not my job.
And if you're listening, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Young one.
Yeah. Hey, little Archer. How's it going, buddy? I hope you're having a great day and you learned a lot today.
So it's episode 15.
Episode 15 is big time.
Well, I say we dive right in and give the people what they want.
Oh, that they came to hear, buddy.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm Tony. This is Leo. We never introduce ourselves. I'm going to do it every time now. I promise.
I'll try and remind you.
Leo, my good friend. What have you been playing this week?
Yeah. So I've been, trying to try a little bit of everything. I've been playing the Division 2, I should say, which we're going to real dive into because you got it as well, correct?
I've been playing a lot of Division 2.
Ooh, well, we're gonna have that conversation in a minute. Mm-hmm. So I've been playing a lot of that. I've been playing another game that I'm excited to talk about next week. That's sort of been monopolizing a lot of my time. And then I got back into Dragon Age Inquisition, which I know you don't love talking about, but it's exciting.
What a great game.
And, some other stuff here and there. Oh, actually, I forgot to tell you. I started playing Knights of the Old Republic, which isn't that relevant, but maybe I could talk about it later. But I started playing Symphony of the Night again.
Ooh,
we were
my man.
We were talking about it a few days ago, and I remembered how much I love that game. And I just started playing. I don't know if I'll beat it, but it's damn good.
It's such a great game.
It's damn good. It's just fun. It's polished. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it looks so good. It feels so good. Yeah, I love that game.
And it's a great example of a game that just does not age.
No, it looks amazing.
Yeah, if it came out today, it would be like, this game looks beautiful.
I don't know if you saw, but Bloodstained actually got a release date today. I mean, that's kind of...
Does not look good.
Kind of late breaking news. I'll probably still play it.
Yeah, let me know how it is.
I'm just that guy. But coming out in June, I think the 21st was the retail release of it.
Yeah, I think so. Something like that. And that'll be on Switch, right?
Yeah, Switch, PC, PS. It's on everything.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool, actually, I think.
Yeah, it'll be cool to try it.
For better or worse, I think it's cool to have that kind of lineage carry.
And it does look beautiful.
Yeah, it looks neat.
So yeah, that's kind of what I've been really focused on, and I'd like to know what you've been playing. I think I know the answer though.
I played so much Division 2.
Nice. So how much did you play, would you say?
Like a jillion hours. I bought it on Friday. So we talked about it on the show last week.
Yeah. How you were thinking about buying it?
Yeah, and I told the listener if they bought it, I'd buy. He didn't buy it, but I bought it.
Traitor.
Traitor. You know, it's funny. Like, and I was looking, and you know, it was on sale like on consoles. Actually, it was like $40.
Oh wow.
Still $60 on PC, and I was just like, oh, but I got to get it on PC. I will say this: I immediately had hardware issues.
Yeah, that sucks.
Very frustrating ones. It's sad that I'm in a state now where I'll almost accept like buggy hardware issues, because most games I feel like have buggy hardware issues and the game's bad. Right? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
like I guess like as long as it's not Anthem, I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know, like is almost my mentality now. Or as long as it's playable, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's my problem with Apex too, is I feel like in some ways it's not very playable in its state. Like it feels good when it's good, but when it's bad, it's so frustratingly bad.
So do you think this is an argument in the favor of consoles? Because this isn't. I mean, I feel like if this happened on consoles, there would be an uproar. Whereas here, it's like, this sucks, but whatever, they'll patch it out.
Because I'll be honest, if I wanted to cap my PC to 60 frames, 1080, low settings,
that's a good
so it
point.
looked like a console, that thing would probably run tits.
That is
right?
a very good
like,
point.
It would be.
That's a good point. I like that. I'm gonna remember that.
It would be gorgeous.
The only reason
beautiful.
the only reason is because it's so much more advanced.
Yeah, and it's so much more. It's running in a way that it could never run. I think a lot of it's DX12. I think that was some of the initial problems. I also had a problem that it wasn't writing the new settings to the hard drive. It was because I saved it on my system SSD because I had a bunch of space.
Oh, okay.
And that was stopping it from saving the settings because Uplay
Because you want to do on local?
Yeah, Uplay wasn't launching it as administrator, so I couldn't write to it. So
That
like I
seems
kept trying
dumb.
to fix it, and then it would crash, and then I'd jump back in, and all the settings would revert, and it was just like this nonstop loop I was going through. It was very frustrating.
That sucks.
And even now, I still get these moments of like where it stops, like it lags for a second, you know, and that's CPU load. Like you could tell when you look at it, it's like just pinned CPU.
And also, speaking of loading,
dude,
I know this is almost turning like a meme, but seriously, the fucking thing, sorry kid, the thing takes like 20 minutes to load. You click it, and then you, seriously, not exaggerating, I'm not being hyperbolic here, I will actually open it and go do something else. Like start something, throw something in the microwave, whatever, go brush my teeth, and by the time I come back, my character's finally up. And then I click it and go do something again, and then by the time I come back, I'm in.
It's funny. There's that Mitch Hedberg joke. Someone on Reddit was like, sometimes I like to boot up Division 2 because you never know if I'm going to play it later. You know what I mean? And that Mitch Hedberg joke is sometimes I like to make a baked potato because you never know if I want to eat one later.
Yeah.
You know, like... but
that's funny.
That is real talk. How
For
that
real.
game is,
especially, and I have a pretty fast hard drive, pretty fast computer, and even so I can't even imagine if you were trying to do low, on like a 480 or something.
It sounds like hyperbole, but it's is
not.
literal minutes.
Yeah,
you know, like I know that sounds like who cares about a few minutes?
It's just and that's fair. But the thing is, it's just so much longer than any other game I've ever played.
Yeah, but I mean, it's probably 3 to 5 minutes to get into game. And like just sitting there staring at your computer loading for 240 seconds it's really insane.
And it's also just mystifying.
Yeah,
like, what the hell's going on?
It's mystifying.
Why has there been any? I haven't done any real research, but has there been any?
I don't know, but like it feels like so much of it too is like handshakes, right? Like loading the game could take a minute. That's fine.
Yeah, and it is a big, huge, beautiful game.
But then you get to like connecting to Ubisoft, and it's like bloop 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 bloop. Connecting to game, and it's just taking forever, and you're just like, what is happening in the background right now?
What is it, like a server issues, a netcode issue? What is going on?
You might get epilepsy, and it's like snowdrop,
and then
AMD.
And like you said, it'd be nice if they at least let you skip all that.
Yeah, like I don't understand why you can't at least try and launch straight to character.
I wonder if there's a file name extension to do that.
I haven't seen any like shortcut modifiers for it, because those are like kind of the first things that come out.
Yeah, exactly.
Games launch slow. I haven't seen any of that yet. I'm actually thinking of making a video of like seeing how long like a bunch of games take compared to Division.
They will all take
like a race. Time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you picture.
I'm calling it now. The Division 2 will lose every race.
I don't know. Maybe Anthem might be slower.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't played Anthem.
I'm not going to load it, but it might be slower.
Yeah. It's not worth it. It's not worth it even to test.
And I guess actually that was in the news too. But well, after Division 2, I guess we could bring that up real quick. But
so actually, before we hop into the Division 2 even further, I do want to, for the record, I've had it for, I don't know, a while now, a month maybe, and I just got to level 30. Now, to be fair, I'm intentionally playing it pretty slowly, playing like half an hour, maybe an hour a night. So I'm going pretty slow. But Tony got it.
Yeah, that ain't me, bro.
Yeah, he got it, and I asked him, I don't know if it was Monday, I think, after you got it, and I said, you said I've been playing a lot of Division. I was like, oh, cool. I bet he's like level 10. I can give him all kinds of advice.
Yeah.
But how far did you get?
On Monday or today?
On Monday.
On Monday, I was level 30.
Which is the level cap.
I was
not there yet.
I think I was like World Tier 2 on Monday.
Wow. That's funny.
So
you beat the entire game kind of twice.
The single-player game.
Yeah. No, that's true. It's a persistently online game, so there's a lot to it. But you beat the story.
Mm-hmm.
And you beat kind of the first, yeah.
So not the whole map again.
Right.
You beat the story, and then you have to, each stronghold is another world tier.
Yeah.
So it's 2 missions and a stronghold.
And then when you get to 5, you can do the Tidal Basin, correct?
4 is Tidal Basin. Beating Tidal Basin is 5.
Okay.
So right now I'm World Tier 5.
But it's basically, you're getting close to the end game. End game.
I'm in the end game.
Yeah.
There's no more PvE content for me to do other than harder modes of the existing PvE content. I haven't touched the Dark Zone yet.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I'll do some Dark Zone stuff once I feel like I have like a gear set that's, it's funny with games like that. Like you're spending so much time randomly putting on whatever gear you find because it has the highest gear score.
Yeah.
That you really got to get to these caps before you can be like, okay, these are the perks I want.
Yeah.
I'm going to want to use like an LMG and a SMG.
Yeah, and before you really start like dialing in on what you want versus just whatever random shit you have.
Yeah, before you can kind of dial in on what you want to do. I played a lot of Division 1.
Yeah.
So like
I didn't, for the record.
I had a pretty clear idea of like how to level fast.
Yeah.
Like what weapons or weapon types at least, or like archetypes of weapons I wanted to use, and kind of how to manipulate that to get through stuff fast and to like finish content that I wasn't quite leveled for. Like the Police M4 in Division 1 was always like the tried and true assault rifle. And so I would just craft one like every 3 or 4 levels, right? Like every 3 or 4 levels, I'd feel it start falling off.
Yeah.
And instead of using the guns I found, I would just make a new one.
And that was it.
And jump back in and then do the next 2 missions and then make a new one and then do the next 2 missions. Yeah. You save all your side quests because the side quest experience scales with your level.
Yeah, see, I wish I had known that. I had no idea.
Yeah, and the main story quest experience is always fixed. So at some point, the main story quest will kind of catch up mechanic you. Like you're going to get more levels from it if you do it at lower levels.
Right.
Than if you always try and level to its equal level.
And then if you do the side missions when you're later.
Yeah, they're worth so much more.
Yeah. No, so that does make sense. Like we didn't spend the same amount of time playing.
I think I was 30 in about 10 hours.
Yeah, see, it took me, I think, 25 hours to get to 30, something like that. But that is because I was really just having fun running around, meandering. Like, I was not... I'm taking it real slow. And I think... I'm glad I did. I think that's the way to do it for me, just because I didn't play the first one a lot. And I'm kind of new to all this gameplay style, so I'm having a lot of fun just running around, exploring. It's so detailed.
Yeah, despite all my hardware complaints and all that, like, it's a fun game.
It's a very fun game.
It's funny. The first day I bought it, I actually tried to get my money back.
Oh.
Because it would just crash, like just nonstop crashing over and over again.
That's the worst.
And I emailed Ubisoft, and of course they don't get back to you for 2 days, and their response is like,
because they're like, hopefully you fixed it by then.
Their response is like, here's a troubleshooting cheat sheet, and it's like,
that is the first thing I looked at.
Yeah, like I did all of this so many times.
I did all this the very first minute.
Did you update your drivers? Yeah. It's like, fuck you, man. Like, fuck you.
Did you restart your router?
But like now when I play it, I turn off. I have to close Steam and Origin. I have to turn off the overlays. Like, I just like go into this like quarantine Division mode, which I hate.
Which is kind of ironic.
Yeah, I have to.
Would you say it's like a dark zone?
It's a dark zone, right? But it's I hate having to have this game where it's like, oh, got to get the computer prepped to play this game. It's going to take 6 minutes to boot, But
yeah, especially I can't even imagine the frustration when it was crashing.
Yeah.
For the record, I should just say I've had 0 problems with it crashing.
Yeah,
maybe twice.
Yeah.
But so it's not. I don't think that's a universal experience. But that makes it even more annoying. That when you fight again, you're like, cool, I get to play. Oh, crashed. And it's not like you just pop right back in. That's another 6 minutes.
It's like I'm gonna change the settings, and it's like
it was one of those things where you're staring at the screen and you could see a reflection, and you're just like, "What am I doing with my life?"
Yeah, it was so mad. I was like, I should start smoking weed. Like, you know what I like? Something.
Do some mescaline. I
Something
don't know.
like-
Something to make this fun.
Something while I'm just sitting here, like, staring at the screen. Like,
While my life slowly ticks away.
it's funny because I haven't used my tablet in such a long time. And the Division 2 is what finally forced me to, like, take my tablet, unfold it, and prop it in front of my computer screen.
Throw some Netflix on there.
So I could, like, watch Netflix, like, while I'm waiting for all these loads and shit.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
But, I mean, that's how I play Division now. But, but it's a fun game. The
It is a
cover-to-cover
fun game.
mechanics are good.
Totally. I love the
skills are
movement.
good. Some of the deaths are frustrating.
Yes, a lot of one shots, which I do not like.
A lot of one-shots, a lot of being on fire and realizing,
I
like...
hate that. Or
oh.
poison. Apparently, you can get poison. I didn't
Yeah.
even find this out till recently.
Wait till you get to the guys that hit you with sticky sludge,
I hate those guys.
and you just end up standing there
oh, I've
and dying.
yeah, they suck. You
I'll
have to hold F.
Yeah, yeah. Which why not let
those
me at least let
guys.
me like tap F or something, or like
Yeah.
something to break out of it. Electricity sucks for some reason. When you get shocked, you just stand still.
Yeah,
While when opponents get shocked, they like
it
stumble.
It makes them like
they
run
stumble
faster.
around behind things. Yeah. So there's
Yeah,
a lot of like
there is some of that.
bullshit. The runners are way aggressive, like the guys that run at you.
Like the suicide bombers
The suicide bombers, the guys
Yeah.
with the bats, or
or the chainsaws.
the chicks that do the drugs run
Yeah.
at you. They're way too aggressive in a way. They're supposed to be toning all this down.
Oh, interesting.
Actually,
Yeah, I will be curious to see how they
because the game is
making changes.
I'm not gonna say the game is hard, but it's not easy. I definitely had like missions because I soloed a lot of it.
Yeah,
most
so
of
I
it,
was doing co-op, so it was easier. But
and there's a lot of missions I died on a lot of times.
yeah,
Right. Like there's a lot of bosses where I was like, okay, like how am I really gonna like? I need to swap up my skills.
yeah.
I need to swap up my guns and kind of figure out how I'm gonna approach the situation.
Did you call in your reinforcements?
No,
Why not?
because that's not how I roll.
But it doesn't cost anything.
Because usually you don't get reinforced.
No,
unless
like the
it's-
people,
that's
like the
only-
AI people.
That's only in
Control points.
Control points.
Yeah, but I know, but it was still helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I usually didn't control points.
I just thought it was fun, and it's funny to watch the bad, like your friendly AI, how stupid they are, is very
the
entertaining.
worst part is they'll drag in other camps. When
Oh.
they come.
So they drag aggro. That's
Yeah,
funny.
because a lot of times if there's a nearby
They're
enemy
like dragging
camp,
mobs in. You're like,
they'll
hey,
drag them in.
come on,
Yeah. So I've had them pull in like
like
there's,
gold level. Yeah,
Yeah, like because there's elite, like roaming elite mobs where it's like 3 elites together.
yeah.
And I've had them drag those into control points.
Thanks,
on me,
guys.
and I've died.
Thanks a lot,
Um,
you sons of
Yeah.
bitches.
And you can just die so fast.
Yeah, I do find, and we talked about a little bit about this. That's what I find the most frustrating thing is one shots, or like, yeah, when you're at full health, then all of a sudden you're on fire, and then you're dead within a second.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what the hell is I supposed to do? That's just irritating.
Yeah. And it is dope that you can shoot grenades out of the air.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've tried, but I've never actually.
I feel
done
like
it.
such a G.
That
like,
is dope.
when I just start popping grenades out of the air. I mean, especially if you're like now that I'm on like challengings and stuff.
Yeah.
So like it's a lot easier to get a squad
Mhm.
like randomly match made because there's
Yeah.
a lot of people at endgame doing those. And when you get in a squad and you just start nailing all the grenades out of the air,
and like the Molotov
People-
cocktails
yeah.
and shit.
yeah, people like start chatting like, "Oh shit!" Like like people are
That's
really
cool.
get pumped up. But yeah, especially when you get to these whatever those last guys are called, the Black Tusks.
Yeah,
They
which I
got
just got to last night.
They got some nefarious shit. Like
Great.
they got robot dogs with sniper rifles on their heads that are a real menace. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, so I was thinking your hardware issues that you ran into.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you would have been fine if you just got from the Epic Store. We're not joking about that. You should see the look he's giving me. It's really, really negative.
I would drop the mic, but I own it.
I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be back next week.
It's my mic, so I'm not going to drop it.
But if it was
I paid
mine.
money for this thing.
One thing I am curious about, though, in the Division is why the hell do the character models look so bad?
So ugly.
And like we've said, I think we even said it before here, the game is one of the most beautiful games as
Yeah, it
far
looks
as the
really nice.
environments.
Yeah.
They're extraordinary. It's so beautifully detailed and immaculate. And the character models are like the last gen.
like,
It's
the
so
ugliest thing
weird.
I've ever seen.
It's a very strange way to prioritize.
Especially the women, which is
Yeah.
really kind of. I don't know what that's even saying. I guess it's because the women don't have beards. Like you can't cover their face with hair.
That's true.
But
You can hide big sunglasses maybe.
yeah, but it's like because even the dudes, like I immediately went like beard bro, glasses, hat, like don't look at me. You know what I mean? Like,
well, you're a government agent. You're trying to be.
Yeah, it's like 7 a.m. at the airport, division agent, right? Like
you're hungover as
yeah,
hell.
hungover, Vegas airport, 7 a.m. Sunday morning.
Yeah,
got to get home. Yeah, because it's hat, sunglasses, giant beard, maybe a face mask if I got one.
Yeah,
you know,
so you can
like,
barely even. Yeah,
so you don't even see him at all. But yeah, everyone just seems to look super ugly.
and the story is so dumb.
The story's really dumb.
Like the end, this is, I guess, is spoilers, but I don't think anyone cares.
Spoiler alert! If you don't want to hear this, come back in 20 seconds.
If you don't want to hear the Division 2 story,
The story's so bad.
the last mission at the Capitol was fine, but the end was like, okay, here's
Yeah.
the briefcase. The end. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell was that? It was so stupid.
The worst thing is, and you're gonna experience this soon, when you unlock World Tier 4 and you have to do title basing. I think it's 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 4. I'm not. Yeah, you do it at 4. It gives you a new mission. It's like, oh, here's a new mission. You're
Oh,
like,
cool.
oh shit, new mission, right? And so it's like it's right by the White House too. You're like, oh,
Ooh,
what's
nice.
going on? And it's like, you go in and it's like underground bunker. Like,
Nice.
I've never seen this bunker. This
yeah,
is
that
cool.
sounds cool.
You go down into the bunker, and you watch an echo, and then that's the end of the mission. And you're
Wow.
like, is this real? Like, did
That
this just
sucks.
happen? Yeah, this just happened.
Like, it's almost just don't do it.
Yeah, but some of those late missions are pretty cool.
No,
Like
totally. And I will say the environment design, even in the missions, is super awesome. Like the one in
the Capitol
the
with
Capitol,
the big gun
yeah,
at that front.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
That was funny. We were doing that, and I actually, it was funny. I was like, I figured it out. Use the gun. I ran right in front of the gun. Instantly was just
Just
massacred
melted, yeah.
immediately. I was like, what?
yeah, it's like Normandy, man. It's cool. Yeah,
Yeah, that whole thing where you're running up and there's explosions going off. I wish there was more of that.
Yeah,
but like this, like where you're in the space center, that was
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
Or like
The
where you're
one-
in the observatory.
the one with the white squares where
Yeah,
you're moving forward.
yeah.
and
It was
it's
like an art museum or something. I don't
yeah,
know.
it's
That
like
was I
straight
love
out
that
of John
kind of stuff.
Wick. You know?
Yeah, I
it's
love that
really
kind of
cool.
stuff. They're really good about
I love that too. I wish more of it was like that. I feel like as you get into it, a lot of it turns into like caves.
Yeah, there's like 6 main missions, and those 6 main missions all have really cool. Like the one in the Vietnam War Museum was very interesting. The Mars one,
Yeah.
but then yeah, you're right. The vast majority is like, oh, you're underground in the sewer.
Yeah, a lot of it's like, oh, we're in a cave. Like,
Yeah.
go in this cave.
And even those, it looks amazing. But yeah, it's not all the way thoroughly beautifully inspired. But the stuff that is in there is very cool.
yeah,
And they didn't have to do that. I'm glad they did.
I definitely feel like there was an A team making battle arenas and a B team making battle arenas. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
some of them are like so thought out.
Yeah, and beautiful.
It's
and,
so beautiful
yeah,
and
complex.
interesting and complex. And some of them are like, this doesn't even make sense to
Yeah.
me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they slapped this
Who
one.
built this?
Yeah, they slapped
This
this
is
one
like
together.
Dracula's castle. What the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
Where are there Medusa heads
Yeah.
flying through the air?
Yeah, some of them feel.
Could shoot them out of the air like grenades.
Some. I wish that'd be dope.
And then yeah, like it's just a shame about the story because like you don't need a story in a game like this. In fact, in some ways, it's antithetical to telling a really good story. But it's just it was
Even
almost
the
like why
intro.
even bother?
Even the intro.
Asthma's deadly.
Yeah.
It's what?
Do you have guns?
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but guns are fucking cool,
Yeah.
man.
I don't have guns.
And now I'm dead. I wish I had more
If
guns.
only you had guns, you could kill all these hungry people.
Yeah, all
You
these
know?
hungry, yeah, like poor people. Yeah,
Yeah, like I get it. They're doing some fucked up shit, and they
but
probably
then again,
deserve to die.
so are you.
But so are you. You're
and,
murdering.
and it is that same thing. Like, how many people did you murder?
Yeah.
What would it be like 20,000 people, probably?
Oh, at least.
Like that's a lot of people. That's like a village.
It's funny. I was playing with my friend last night, and there was like a deer, and he shot him. Like, why you shoot the animals? He's
Yeah.
like, really?
Yeah, I shoot.
I'm just like,
Yeah, I got so much shit because I shoot the dogs sometimes, just
Yeah.
because you don't get to shoot dogs in games very much, and it's not something I would ever do in real life, obviously. But it's kind of just interesting that you can't pet them,
Yeah,
but you can shoot them.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, people are like, "How could you do that?" I'm like, dude. I mean, you're right. The dog didn't do anything; it wasn't attacking me. But I have murdered, hundreds of thousands of people. So
Yeah.
this isn't like it's just what she does now. My character, she just anything that moves, she just shoots it.
I imagine you'd be so hardened by that point that you could kill anything.
Yeah,
that moves.
you wouldn't even care. Although it'd be cool if it gave you like meat or something.
Dog meat.
Yeah, that you could take back to your supply points.
That would be pretty funny. And
But
I'll give you a tip. Don't worry about food, water, and tools or whatever.
I don't.
Because by the time you get to World Tier 5, you're going to be full all the time.
I'm already full all the time.
Yeah, but I wasn't. And then once you beat the game, you're like, why was I ever worried about this? Because I am so
Yeah.
full all the time, you
Yeah.
know? Like,
So do you think? Because I'm still enjoying it. Just got to World Tier 1. How much more do you think you'll play? I mean, not forever, but like of this until they do some serious updates. What are you feeling? Do you think it's something you'll like get real into the Dark Zone, or do you think it's something you'll play another 10, 15 hours and then move on to something else? Or
I'd say maybe like 15, 20 hours. I'll probably play through this week and next week, depending on kind of if I kind of get into a rhythm. I don't think I will, but I'm enjoying it. I played like one of the PvP, the conflicts.
No, I haven't done
Not
any
cool.
of that. Really? How come?
Because it's still Division. You know what I mean? Like, it's not set up for it.
I am really curious how PvP is going to work, because it doesn't feel like... Yeah, I just can't imagine how that'll work in that game, but I've never tried it.
Even in Division 1, the scaling, like, it's... So Division 1, I feel like they tried to use MMO roles a lot more, right? Like kind of skill builds were like mage builds, right? Where you had like grenades and explosives that
and like
did
healers,
big damage, or like healers, yeah. And like there were gun builds, or there was like tanky builds, right?
Right.
And I feel like in Division 2, and eventually they kind of nerfed all that stuff out of Division 1. They're like, this doesn't really work, right? Because the problem is a mage build is amazingly overpowered in PvP, right?
Okay, yeah.
Like, because you can just shoot a group and they all explode.
Yeah,
know?
that's fair.
And so it's like, well, we can't have that. And it's like, well, if they do that, then there has to be a tank. But, you know, even a tank build can't really stand up because they don't do the damage to deal with it.
Right.
So everyone had to be a gun. You know, everyone had to just be a gun guy.
Yeah.
And I feel like they've kind of done that with Division 2 from the get-go. And I think the thing, I read something on Reddit, and it made a lot of sense, is Division is Diablo. It's not, you know, it's not Destiny.
No, it's absolutely Diablo. It's
right.
The more I play it, the more I'm like, this is so cool. It's just Diablo.
Yeah,
it's exactly the same as Diablo.
Yeah, it's Diablo.
And I love Diablo.
So I don't think there's a lot of really super interesting build diversity in that game, which is probably what will keep me from getting too tied into it. I know some people do some very interesting things with it, but you know, I think we're going to see the strongest builds of the people that kill you in the Dark Zone consistently are going to be the people that do full-on SMG builds or LMG builds that are all gun damage, which is kind of how it was before too, with some kind of bonus damage perk, right?
Because
like,
guns are fucking cool, man.
Do you have guns?
Because if not, the hyenas are going to eat your face.
Mm-hmm. They're going to do drugs and fucking murder you. So, you know, like without that kind of level of creativity or being able to kind of, I like weird builds. I'm kind of I always have been kind of the underdog build guy.
Yeah.
Right. And so, or like at least like the niche build kind of guy.
No, for sure.
And I just feel like that's not a game that is that into that, you know? And so I think that'll keep me from really like whole hog investing into it. But I'll probably get myself raid ready and jump in and out when other people are playing, and play the raid when it comes out once, and you know, and I think that's worth it. I think I've gotten my money's worth out of it.
That's my thought too. Yeah, like whenever they put out a new update or a new patch, or maybe the DLC goes on sale, it'll be fun to hop back in for another 15 hours or so and check in, see how my character's doing. I'm excited about that part of it.
With Apex being terrible, I assume I will continue to play this, and then as I start to wean off, go back into leveling in Final Fantasy XIV, and then kind of jump back and forth as I like, you know, as I burn all my rested experience in Final Fantasy XIV, jump back in for a little bit and kind of toggle between them once they both get kind of at a, you know, because MMOs, you kind of get to a maintenance level with them until new content comes out. So I assume I'm going to try and get both of those games into maintenance.
That's a cool idea. That's actually a great segue, because I today just got Final Fantasy XIV.
I know, that's why I did the segue.
That was really good.
Thanks.
Like really solid.
Boom.
No, but I did. I got it for free through Twitch Prime.
Yeah, I heard there was a Twitch thing for Final Fantasy XIV
what's
and
funny
Heaven's Sword.
So what's funny is that I found out today was the last day. So sorry, people who are listening to this who wanted it, you can't have it anymore.
Better log in,
because you're past it. But anyway, it's only $20 for the base game, and it goes on sale all the time. But yeah, I saw that, so I grabbed it while I could, and then Heaven's Sword, which I guess is the first expansion, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Heaven's Sword is the first expansion.
They're also giving that away for free for like a month.
Oh, I don't have to do that one today?
No, that one you don't have to do today.
Whew.
Yeah, you have like, I think 3 weeks. It goes for a while. But, so they're giving that away for free, and then 30 days free. So I'm going to try it, and I'm excited. I'm really excited to get into it. For 30 days, just try it out, see if I like it. But what I want to tell you about, and I'm sure you can relate to this, is the actually trying to get through the process of signing up was one of the worst experiences as far as gaming goes that I've ever had. It was so catastrophically terrible. Now, for a little bit of background, I think I signed up for a demo when it first came out like 6-7 years ago or whatever.
That's what fucked you.
Right. So
what fucked you.
So the first thing was kind of my fault in that I had to figure out where to go.
Mog Station.
So Mog Station looks like it's from the 40s. Like it's so old looking. So I was like,
this
can't be right.
In the 40s.
Yeah. Okay. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you though.
94 maybe.
90-40s. But anyway, Mog Station alone, I was like, this can't be right. This can't be running in 2019. So anyway, I logged into that. Long story short, that's all my fault because I already had it, so I can't fault them too much for that. But then I had to log into like 4 different stores, jump all through like different versions of the site, put in codes from different places. Each time I'd like refresh, I'd have to log back in. For some reason, it locked me out twice, so I had to reset my password twice, even though I know for a fact I was typing incorrectly. So, and all kidding aside, to get both of those things totally activated and actually starting to download, which is going to take 2 hours, I'd say it was like half an hour.
Yeah, I believe it.
For real. Like literally half an hour of just checking my email, checking confirmations, going from the Square Enix store to Mog Station to like the Final Fantasy store. Like just, it was insane. It was like the most unfriendly UI I've ever encountered in my life. It was just crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if the fans remember, but I had a similar situation.
Yeah.
When I got back into Final Fantasy.
Yeah, 14, I couldn't help but think of you while I was suffering
ended up buying an extra Steam copy because my original copy was lost to time until I bought the Steam copy, which then logged me into my original copy.
Thanks, FF14.
Yeah, I mean, thank goodness Steam was a bro about it.
Oh, speaking of, the free expansion doesn't work with the Steam version.
Yeah, I don't have the Steam version.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's why Steam was a bro about it. I told them,
I
had the original version.
Nice.
And then they give me my money back. They're like,
they give you credit.
Here's credit for it.
Nice.
We can't give you your money back.
Yeah, that's not
like,
bad.
that's cool. Like, that's fine with that. So I am sympathize.
Well, it was just fascinating to me. I'm like, Squeenix is one of the big, they're one of the big ones. So what the hell? I know they only have 2 MMOs, but how could they possibly have made it so insane? Are they like trying to weed people out who aren't like super dedicated? What the hell's going on?
I think it's just Japan.
Yeah, I guess they're not. They don't have a lot of MMOs. Well, yeah, they do.
Not really.
They're just all like mobile, like Ragnarok.
And even that, like I think most of those are Korean made.
That's probably true.
There's not a lot of Japanese made MMOs. I mean, the closest things are like Monster Hunter style games, and even those have really terrible online systems.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
I feel like
like Nintendo always has terrible UI.
I think it's because really up until recently, a lot of multiplayer gaming in Japan was ad hoc. A lot of it is
DS and 3DS.
Yeah, a lot of it is like ad hoc connections where you got to be close to people
PSP.
and then you all just sort of merge, right? And yeah, I just
it's more social.
It's more social, and I just don't think that they have kind of the chops as much for these kind of online experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have some, right?
Yeah,
but I think most of them are usually run through a network like PSN, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even for a long time, PSN was so bad.
Yeah.
And Nintendo Online is so bad.
It's still bad, yeah.
And, without Xbox having like good online, PSN would still be terrible.
For sure.
It's decent now, but it's decent now because it's mirrored a lot of what PSN
and it's
did.
Still not
or a lot of
great.
what
it's still not,
Xbox did.
It's not perfect.
It's not perfect.
Well, even the launcher, even the Final Fantasy 14 launcher, it looks like it's like from literally 15 years ago. It's crazy.
Yeah, it looks so bad.
But anyway, all that aside, it was just a fascinating experience. I got to a point where I was actually laughing out loud because it was like, seriously, I have to log in again. Then I thought I was a robot. So then I had to reset my password. Like it was absolutely hilarious. But anyway, long story short, it's downloading right now, and I'm really looking forward to trying it.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you give it a try.
Yeah, and I was curious. I know you probably don't want to go too far down this road, but if you had any sort of quick starting advice for me or anyone who's interested, or maybe anyone else who picked it up on Twitch.
I think the key to Final Fantasy 14 is follow the main story quest.
I have heard that more than once, so that's good to know.
Basically, it's the slowest part of the game.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so Final Fantasy, unlike other MMOs, is strictly tied to a specific main story narrative. Right? Like, your level doesn't really dictate how far along your progression in the game.
Interesting.
Your progression along the main story quest does. Now, some of those will be locked behind what level you are, but that can be a level in any job, and your character can have all the jobs.
Yeah, that alone
right?
I was talking to a coworker and they said, yeah, that sounds really cool that you can switch jobs. You don't have to do a new build every time or a new character every time.
Yeah, you can just
That's
have
so
all
cool.
the jobs on one character.
But I also heard that you can't redo quests.
No.
So how the hell are you supposed to level? Do you just have to grind it out if you want to do a new
Yeah, and there's
job?
millions of side quests and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Right, and once you kind of get to that point, there's things that you've unlocked that are better ways to level.
Okay.
Right, like
Okay,
once you
cool.
get to specific points, it's like, oh, I can just kind of do these like match-made like dungeons or special quests, or there's this thing called Prison of the Dead or Palace of the Dead or
sounds
something,
spooky.
and it's like you do like 1 to 100 like from start with these like specialty weapons,
Yeah.
but it gives you chunks of XP in the regular game
Oh,
when you
okay.
come out. So like that's a quick way. That's a way a lot of people level even normally, but like alts and stuff. Like
Okay.
I'm almost to 50 now. I'm at like 46 or
Is
something.
that the cap?
50 is the base game cap,
Okay.
right? So after that, like once I hit 50, I'll have to do the Heaven Sword main story quest, then the Stormblood
I think it's called Stormblood, yeah.
main story quest, and then whatever's the last one.
Shadowbringer or something.
Shadowbringer is the last one, yeah. The Shadowbringer comes out in July, so
Yeah.
then I'll have to start doing that one. But
It's interesting they've only had 3
yeah,
in all
But
these years.
they're pretty huge.
No, I've heard that. It's not a criticism. It's more just that's a very different model than say WoW or,
and the
ESO.
story's really bad.
Yeah, I've heard mixed things. Is it bad in that it's Final Fantasy, or is it like bad even for Final Fantasy? Is it the sort of thing where you're like,
It's bad.
is it like worse than Final Fantasy 15 in terms of story?
Well, Final Fantasy 15's a bad example. I
Okay.
feel like.
Well, what's your
Did you
favorite
play Final
Fantasy?
Fantasy 15?
No, not yet.
So that's what I mean. If you played it, you would be like, "Oh, this is," because Final Fantasy 15 is clearly broken when you play it.
Like it's not a complete game.
Like you're like something happened. Like it truly when
No, I
you
believe
play
you.
it,
Something horrible just happened
you're like
here.
something has happened, right? Because things just happen, and you're like, what is going on? Like it you get to a point in the game where it's like, oh, they just want this to end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're like,
Like,
oh, we gotta end this.
like and it's not far. Like you're not like even playing for 40 or 50 hours. And It's
Yeah.
like, oh, we got to tie this up. It's like, I feel like I just started, and they're just like, all right, we got to wrap this up. Next quest, next quest, next quest. You're done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Get him the hell out of here.
Yeah. You're like, what happened?
Well,
But
what's your favorite Final Fantasy story then?
probably like 6.
So if you compared 6 to 11 story wise, is it?
No, it's not even close to that.
So it's just a bad story even for Final
It's
Fantasy.
just
I
a
guess
bad
that's my
story.
question.
It's just a very soft, very, very weird story.
Are
It
there,
just doesn't have good beats. You don't feel invested in any of the characters. There's so many characters.
yeah, okay.
There's so many like random like just different factions you're fighting for,
Yeah.
and like
Is it an Ivalice?
what?
Is it an Ivalice?
An Ivalice?
Like Final Fantasy 12 and Final Fantasy Tactics?
No,
It's its own thing.
it's its own thing.
Okay.
There's just so much weird stuff, and so much like, well, I don't like, none of this stuff has any stakes to me.
Okay, interesting.
And you kind of get to the like, I'm like at the end part of it, and I'm still just like,
I don't care.
I don't care, right?
Sorry, bunny people or
Yeah.
whatever. Interesting. So, but yeah, you're saying the best way is to follow the main story and
And it's funny because when you get to the end is the only time you're like, oh, this is cooler. You know, there's like Magitech suits. You know what I mean? There's like, it's
Yeah.
like Garland or whatever. What is that? I don't really remember what the last country is, like the bad country is.
I don't
With all
know.
the Magitech armors and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And like the advanced society. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That are using the powers of the summons for evil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
the Espers.
the Espers or whatever it
Yeah.
is. The Primals, I think they call it in this game.
Okay.
But it's pretty bad. I've heard
Okay.
that it's better in the expansions. Like the main story quests are much better, and the dungeons are super uninspired,
Yeah.
which I found very disappointing. As a person who played a lot of World of Warcraft, complain all you want about World of Warcraft, the dungeons in that game were amazing.
Okay.
They're so great. Even like you expect low level dungeons to be really poor in MMOs because they always are.
Yeah.
Like it's the first one. It's just kind of an intro to dungeons. Dead Mines is beautiful. Like, you know, it's just cool. You you enter through the back of a farmhouse and go underground, and it's like this cave system with bosses that opens up in like a Goonies style pirate cove with a big pirate ship. You gotta climb on board and fight the main pirate. You know, like
cool.
It's super fun in World of Warcraft, right? And all of them kind of have their own theme like that. In this game, it almost feels like Persona Dungeons, where it's like, well, we're just gonna keep moving through these tunnels until we get to the last boss tunnel, you know, which is lame. I've heard those are also much better than the expansions, but you know, I think you got to remember, like, this game was made in duress.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
yeah, so it's kind of amazing it works as well as it does.
It's kind of amazing it works, and it's fun. Like if you kind of want the loop of an MMO, I feel like it is the purest form.
Interesting.
Of that, in a way,
cool.
You know? And it's confusing at first. It's still confusing for me. Just do the main story quest.
Okay. No, that's great advice. That's exactly the kind of advice I needed. And I'm going in very like not trying to master it or anything. I'm just kind of curious what it's all about. I've never been a big MMO guy, so
you're gonna see all these weird quests, and everyone's gonna want you to do something, and everyone's gonna be like, "Hey, do you want to be a tailor?" And you're like, "I guess."
Maybe later. Like, maybe after I get further on the main quest.
Exactly. Be like, maybe later.
Yeah.
Right. I have this main story quest. It's got a different little icon. That's where I'm headed.
Okay, I'll just do that until it starts to make any sense at all.
Well, you'll get to points where you got to need like a level or two, and then just do the quests that are there, like around wherever you are.
I'll ask you about it when it happens.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
And maybe you can rush me.
Yeah, I can help you for sure.
Well, anyway, yeah. So I'll check back in next week after I play a little bit, and we can talk a little bit more about it.
So, the other big news.
Yeah. Other than that, I got Final Fantasy 14.
The tragic news.
Oh boy, I think I know
the
what you're
dark
gonna say.
tale of Psyonix Games.
Yeah.
Have you heard the news?
I've heard the news. They went over to the purple side.
The purple side. Epic's not really purple, are they?
Yeah, aren't they? Isn't the Epic
Kinda
store purple and black?
I guess it's kind of black and white though. It's kind of their logo.
Oh, okay. Well.
Black with white text.
Okay. Well, this is ruined.
But yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So Epic
bought Psyonix for an undisclosed amount of money. They're actually still.
Do you think it was a lot of money?
Probably.
Because Rocket League, I don't know what Rocket League's worth, but it's not a small number. That game is very popular.
It's not a small number, but it's not.
It's not Fortnite, but
and it's not what it once was.
Really?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've never been into it. I never got into it, so
I'm sure it's still popular and gets a lot of playtime. But it's like,
is this still on Twitch? Like, is it still on the top?
And I can't imagine new purchases are very high.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
You know what I mean?
I know they ported to Switch. That probably was a little bump, but
I think it's got a strong
they
fan
should put
base.
that on phones.
I think it's got a strong fan base, but I doubt they're like the people. You know, like I think the whales have already spent. I doubt they're kind of getting a lot of new whales.
Yeah.
My assumption is they're going to make it free to play.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of thought it was.
No, it's not.
I don't know anything about Rocket League.
My assumption is they're going to want that game to have a free-to-play model. I assume that they're going to make the Steam version somehow incompatible with that model because they seem to be in a mode of fuck Steam.
So from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, they're going to bring it over to the Epic Store. They'll still support it on Steam, but you won't be able to buy it on Steam anymore.
That's what I've heard so
But I
far.
don't know how has that ever happened in the history of video games where they'll like, you can still play. Are they still going to get updates? Is it just going to be broken as hell?
It's only happened when Epic pulls these games away from the stores they're being sold on, right? Like Metro, sort of that way.
Yeah, like if you bought Metro, you could still redeem it through
on Steam. Yeah, if you owned it on Steam, you could keep it on Steam, but otherwise.
And then would it just redirect you to the Epic launcher?
No, like it launched through Steam.
Oh, interesting.
Right, and that's what I mean. I think what they're gonna do, which is well, I don't know. This is all
Conjecture,
blind conjecture and speculation, but
that's what we do best
this
around
is what
here.
We do. But based on, Epic has a hard on for trying to stick it to Steam and I feel like they're as noble as they pretend their goals are, and as much as even I feel like profitability isn't even their goal. Their goal
they don't
is
need
to stick it to Steam. I think Tim Sweeney's got a bone to pick with Gabe.
Yeah,
and this is how he's going to do it. I don't know where it all came from, but it's there. Like, it seems clear that this is It
does seem like they go above and beyond to kind of be sort of dickish. Not that Steam doesn't deserve it necessarily, but yeah, I think you might be right. They're like preoccupied almost.
Preoccupied, yeah. My assumption is there will be a new playlist for Rocket League, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like when you buy Call of Duty but don't buy the expansions.
Yeah.
And you can't play with anybody.
Yeah. You can
because you have to play in the special basic bitch playlist
in the kids area.
Yeah, and the basic bitch.
I guess you could play this game, idiot.
I assume that's the kind of shit they're gonna try and pull
That
with
sounds
Rocket League,
sucky.
right? It does sound sucky. And I think there's going to be some free DLC for the free version, right? That you can only get on Epic or your console of choice. And if you're on Steam, you don't get it. But what I think they're going to do is make the game free to play when they do that and say, hey, if you bought Rocket League on Steam, you can just come on over and play. You know what I mean? And we'll get your account up to date, and we'll give you a free fucking sticker or a ball. Yeah, you get a special car for being for paying for it.
It's just a fuck Steam sticker.
It's a fuck Steam.
It's just
sticker.
Gabe Newell's face with a cross on it.
Yeah, and but I don't know. But
no, that makes sense.
It seems like that's been their goal the whole time.
Have Psyonix made anything else? I've never even checked.
I don't think. I mean, I think they actually have. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I've heard someone talk about something else they made.
Yeah,
I think it's cool. I think Psyonix, like, their studio, and I can't remember the guy's name, but founded by people that were like games journalists and people in the industry, and just people that wanted to make a cool game. It wasn't like a big budget studio, so to see them succeed and
they're definitely a success story for sure.
And now become probably super millionaires from Epic. This is probably a big day for all of them.
Yeah,
I think that's very exciting.
Again, I wish they hadn't. It's just the way they frame it, which is like, hey man, we're gonna bring it to more people. It's just gonna be better than ever. Fuck you. And just say like, yeah, you know what? It was a fat check, and people still get to play it.
And I think the real concern is they're like, oh, it's gonna be more esports than ever. But I think it's gonna be esports in the way Fortnite is, where it's gonna be a game that changes on a rapid basis and offers no true competitive form. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's impossible to like level the playing field.
Yeah, because it's impossible to level the playing field.
There's just constantly being patched.
It's a completely inconsistent product.
Yeah, you need like separate builds almost, like an esports build versus the public build.
Yeah, like League of Legends has that.
Do they
play older versions in tournament?
Yeah, I wonder if they do that in Overwatch.
But
that's interesting though.
Yeah. Well, Overwatch, I think they build it into the client where you play. They don't put certain characters into competitive playlists
at all,
right? So like when a character comes out, they're not actually available to use in the competitive playlist.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And that's for every player.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be pretty fucked up. I think they're gonna kind of, ruin it in the name of putting big money behind tournaments that aren't really going to be tournaments. They're going to be advertising opportunities. And
does this mean now every time I open Epic, I'm going to have to see Rocket League next to Fortnite every time? I hate that shit.
They're going to keep telling you.
To be fair, the only time I open the Epic game launcher is to get the new game they offer for free, and then I close it and don't open again for a month. But still, every time I see Fortnite.
I haven't reinstalled it for the longest time.
So did you play a lot of Rocket League ever?
Not really. I own it on multiple platforms.
Oh, nice.
So it was free on PS4.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was one of those PS Plus.
Oh, gotcha. So it wasn't.
And I bought it on Switch. It does not play very good on Switch. Nothing plays very good on Switch.
Breath of the Wild's all right.
Tetris 99's all right.
Yeah, I knew we were gonna get back into this.
You know what's funny? Like you mentioned Breath of the Wild, and I'm sorry, it's such a tangent again, but
no, it's okay.
I actually today watched the E3 presentation from 2016.
Oh, interesting.
Where they talk about Breath of the Wild. And it got me really excited.
That's cool.
I don't know. It's just so good. Like, I love watching those old shows sometimes.
Oh, totally. Even watching ones from like 98, 99, like the Metal Gear Solid trailer.
Something like great. Giant Bomb does a lot of those where they
go back you're telling
and
watch
me,
old
ones. And,
that's cool.
I just randomly, like, for some reason, YouTube was like, you want to watch this 2016
Hell yes, I
E3
do.
thing? And the thumbnail was Breath of the Wild. I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to watch that.
How could I not?
Yeah, how could I not watch that?
Speaking of Breath of the Wild, did you see that the emulation scene continues to blow up and someone figured out how to put in a first-person mode?
Oh, yeah, I saw an article on that.
And it's sick. So the way it works is it's all first-person except when you're climbing or combat, it pulls out to third-person.
Oh, that's
but it's very
cool.
smooth.
Yeah.
And it's great. You can watch videos of it in 4K, running on PC, 60 FPS, maybe even higher. And then in first person, it just looks insane. It's so cool.
I've also heard that the VR mode makes you want to vomit.
Correct.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it. Well, it's funny. It's exactly what you said, where it's like, but it's not, apparently it's not even, because you can still play while you're running, but it's not first person. It's like third person. So you can like move your head around Link while it's totally unplayable.
It's not even like, it's like a camera.
And it looks like hot garbage apparently.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
I kind of want to. I'm not gonna pay for it, but I wish I could try it just because I'm
I would
curious.
be interested in getting the Labo VR thing just to play with. I hear the toy ones are actually pretty fun.
No, I'm sure they are. Yeah, I mean more the VR, just as someone who has tried
the
Vive Pro, and I have the PSVR. I'm curious to try it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's shocking to me that VR doesn't run well on a super old Tegra chip, but a console that can't even run like
Fortnite can't even run on that shit.
Rocket League apparently can't even run on it.
But I guess to finish that idea, right? I guess we kind of wait and see what happens with Rocket League and Epic Games.
Yeah, that's what we've been saying.
Yeah, I am skeptical. I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah,
I just think I think it's so crummy the way Epic, for one, keeps snatching these products away from existing stores.
Yeah, and doing it in such a weird way.
Claiming somehow that they're like morally superior.
Yeah, that's obviously not the case.
Well, they're clearly not.
Yeah.
And Tim Sweeney pretending he's somehow not a multi-billionaire, like, tycoon, right? Like, trying to kind of position himself as like this noble, dev-loving,
just doing it for the devs, man.
Yeah, I've always been doing it for the love of games, man.
And these billions of dollars, you know what? You can have them. I don't even need it.
I don't even. Yeah. It's that's the stuff that irks me.
Yeah. I totally agree. Like the messaging behind it. Mm-hmm. I think honestly, if they're like, yeah, we're here to kick Valve's ass, and that's what we're gonna do by any means necessary, I still wouldn't support it necessarily, but at least it'd be honest.
Yeah, if they're like, our goal is to make money and to own this market,
Valve. Yeah,
and to do that, we got to take Steam down.
I'd be like, all right, well, if you're paying developers more, I guess that's fair. But yeah, I totally agree. The mentality of like, we're just pulling people away in a really weird way.
Yeah, I hate anybody that tries to appeal to your sympathies, your morality.
Yeah,
right?
especially when they're billionaires.
And especially when they're obviously not. I much prefer people that are genuine and say the wrong things than people that are so manufactured and always say the right thing.
Yeah, totally. When they're clearly lying.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of, I think, the takeaway with Rocket League. A couple other things. I'm going to save one for the show.
Okay.
The after show.
Yeah. You guys will definitely want to check that out.
Which is Sonic. Because...
Yeah, we got to talk about Sonic, but we'll talk about that on...
Yeah, I think
because you're going to want to see our faces.
I think that'd be a fun one to kind of discuss on the after show.
I totally agree.
But I think the last thing we should talk about real quick, just before we sign this thing off, is what's going on with Riot Games right now. Yeah,
so from what I understand, and I've never talked to anyone there. It'd be interesting too. I wish maybe someday we can get some of those people.
Inside, I'll be honest.
Do you really?
I'm not gonna like
spill
her beans.
Don't. But still, that's cool that you got to hear that.
Honestly, she doesn't have any secrets for me.
Yeah, but still, just being around.
Yeah, because I know they had like a town hall today.
Yeah. Oh, did they?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, from what I understand, it's just things aren't going super great as far as they got outed for all their sexist bullshit.
Yeah.
Which I think, to be fair, is probably in a lot of corporations that size, which is not. It's not an excuse.
Most of them.
It's not an excuse. Like, fix that shit. It's not that hard.
Yeah, I will say, I think. I mean, not in such aggressive ways, right, that people complain about, but, I feel like we've all, like, we're so systematically guilty of these kinds of things, and it's so hard to not be, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to phrase this in a way that makes it seem like I'm, like, pro, you know what I mean? Like, being a piece of shit. But at some level, these kinds of, like, deeply ingrained systematic injustices, like, we kind of have to realize that they're going to take a lot of time to get past, and like micro focusing on them every time is in some ways unfair. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying that to say that it's that people should be treated this way, but like, I think every time there's like an expose, like every time that, like I had someone complain, I heard someone from Riot complaining that they'd been asked out multiple times at work. Right. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I get that sucks. Right, or that, especially if you're not interested. Yeah. Right.
No, it is unprofessional.
It is unprofessional, but like, that's not. I feel like a indication of an unsafe workplace. You know what I mean? I feel like having the microscope get so close, so constantly, creates an identity of victimization within that workplace. Right, and I don't think that's positive for anyone in that workplace, and especially the people that are being victimized. Right. Yeah. And I think what's so hard about it is I think, like I definitely have been guilty of, talking over people and, kind of repeating other people's ideas and, you know what I mean? Like doing all of these kind of textbook behaviors.
Yeah, I'm sure we all have.
And and it's not with malice in mind, right? And I think that's what's so hard about kind of coming to resolution on these issues is it's not like bad people oppressing good people, right? It's just people like acting the way, using the whatever their life experience is and kind of expressing that, and it negatively affects people.
Yeah.
And that sucks, right? Like that's shitty, and that needs to be resolved and changed. But I think the methods of changing this aren't to demonization is not going to solve, what I mean, these ills. I think really we need to kind of focus on like how do we work together to understand each other and understand that that these ingrained behaviors are harmful and unfair.
Yeah, I think you're right to some degree. I think the first step though is to bring all this shit to light.
Yeah,
and I think people finally feeling heard is deeply important. And I think you're right that to expect all of a sudden Riot or anyone else, I think Riot is, they got put on blast. I think, and rightfully so, everyone should be. But it's not like I really would be shocked if this was unique to Riot in their defense.
I stand by my initial advice to Riot of you should have just kept your mouth shut.
Shut up.
Because I feel like getting involved in this tit for tat,
you're not going to win that,
has only made them worse.
I honestly believe if they just, and maybe they did, I don't know, but I genuinely think if they just absolutely really did try their very best, bring some new people in, really like try and fix the problem. You don't have to do PR about it.
Yeah.
I think the best way to fix it is to, maybe put out a quick thing like, hey, we're glad these people spoke out. We support them. We're going to do our very best to fix it and actually do something. And that's it. You don't need to be like putting yourselves on blast all the time. You don't need to be talking about how great you are, how you're reforming, because I think to your point, this is not the kind of shit you fix overnight.
No. And I think, I think that's what I mean, right? Like paying all this lip service to it.
Yeah.
And, admitting that you've wronged everyone and everyone's a victim of your terribleness.
Yeah.
And then, having one of your C-level employees get busted for ball slapping all the dudes and farting on people, and then you give them paid time off or paid leave, like it shows how disingenuous you are.
Exactly.
Like I said earlier, right? Like if you were good intentioned and flubbing it up, people can see that you're good intentioned.
Yeah, and if you are genuinely trying to fix the problem,
genuinely trying to be better.
Yeah, exactly. Don't just say you're trying to do it. Hire a PR agency and be like, cool, we're good. Yeah. Everything's cool now, right?
But once you put out a PR statement and it's obvious you're fucking faking it, and then everyone does feel like they're being victimized. And when people get asked on a date, they feel like they're being victimized because they know this company culture is negative, right?
And it could be symptomatic. Like, I could see that being like hypervigilant. Like, God damn it, I need to always be aware of this.
Yeah,
and I think that's fair. I probably do the same thing in that position.
Too, right?
But you're right. I think you're totally right.
That's what I mean.
Makes
like
sense.
When that person told me that, my initial response was like, "Oh, geez." But you think about it, like, they don't have malice, and the person that asked them out probably didn't have malice.
Yeah.
But this culture that they have now created of PR statements versus actual action, and the hypervigilance they've created towards this and against this, right? I'm sure that there are schools and circles in Riot that are very much like, fuck these SJWs, right?
Yeah.
It's just like anything, right? Like now you've got two super polarized ends existing on the campus,
company,
right? And one of them is trying to fucking pass out pamphlets saying this company is evil, and one of them is trying to do the opposite.
Yeah.
Like I'll say this, and it seems like Riot is trying to find ways internally to know who's saying what within that company, right? Like these small scale meetings,
that's
and these
not
town halls. Like it seems far more like they're trying to figure out who's
the instigator.
Yeah, who are the
Let's
instigators?
get rid of him.
Who's disgruntled around here? Which is also very ugly. And
it's not the way to do it.
And it's just like, shut the fuck up and just be good.
Yeah.
Like,
and the other thing too that people always gloss over, like all corporations and morality aside, guess what, man? If everyone in your workplace is happy and working together better, it's gonna make you more fucking money.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, whatever your thoughts are on SJWs or political culture or a culture of victimhood, all that aside, if the women and men in your workplace are getting along and they feel comfortable and they feel safe and they feel like they're heard, then guess what? You're going to make more money. It's going to be better for everyone. So like this isn't a sacrifice you have to make. You need to do this for your own sake, as well as even if you don't pretend to care about your employees, just do it anyway because it'll be better for you and them in the long run. Just like you said, simple as that. Admit you're like, oh shit, we screwed up. That's fine. We're gonna fix it, and just actually do it because it's better for you too.
Yeah, it's
not
you just
that
all you have to do is be conscious of these things.
Yeah,
and
be aware.
There's no like crazy formula.
There's no magic bullet.
That's kind of what I was saying at the beginning of this, and I know it's gonna come off like I'm like fuck these women and their stupid ideas. What I really mean is just be conscious of these things and be better to each other, right? And this culture of victimizers and victims erodes so fast. You know what I mean? But if you double down on this culture of yes, you are victims and yes, this place is full of victimizers, then you are going to create this dichotomy that is unproductive, that is ugly, and that is
it's not going to fix anything.
That's terrible, right? And so I don't know if you know, like, I don't know how like into the story you are about like. So they're supposed to have a walkout on Monday,
right?
And the walkout is based on a clause in their contracts that requires arbitration before a lawsuit, right? Which is common in a lot of tech and gaming companies, and it's common in a lot of companies.
Yeah, more so than ever.
And in some ways, I understand why it is, right? Because there really is a in our current legal system, especially in the United States, there is definitely an ability for a small group of disgruntled employees to cripple a business through successive and separate lawsuits.
True.
Right? Like if your goal was to destroy a company and you had 10 other disgruntled people that got fired, right, or that were laid off, and you all said, fine, we're just going to keep filing lawsuits against this company, right? The cost to pay out these lawsuits or to fight these lawsuits would exponentially just go crazy.
Yeah, of course.
Right? And so I understand why there are limits and why they try and create these kind of resolution structures in contracts, right? But I also understand that this is not a system designed to use to protect you from legitimate claims, and
which I think are probably the vast majority.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I think that's the math that Riot's doing in their head right now.
Yeah, you're right.
Are these legitimate lawsuit claims? Should these just be forced into arbitration, right? Like if they're, I think in their heads, I think in their legal team's heads, they're like, these aren't legitimate lawsuit claims, right? Yeah. These can easily be resolved in arbitration with very low overhead for us, right? Like we can give these people very small compensation packages and get rid of these cases. It'll be legally sound.
Yeah.
It'll be legally accepted.
But it ain't gonna go over. The optics are not gonna be good. We won't
have any liability because we feel like these claims don't have
legal merit.
Right? But like the problem is the optics, and especially now that you've engaged in this kind of political back and forth. The optics are you want to shut up women that are angry at how they've been treated in the company. Yeah. And that's never going to fly. Yeah. Right? Like you cannot take this protected class and say, you're not allowed to, you're not allowed to have your day or to have your justice. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and again, that's not good for them in the long run either. Like that's a bad plan.
It's a bad plan.
It's a short-term, like a short-sighted plan.
And, and that's ultimately, like, what I'm saying is if you just want to catch your mouth shut and just take these disgruntled people and right away brought them in and had your arbitration and said, what's going on? How can we
want to fix this?
How can we fix this for you? What can we do for you? Yeah. And not made statements to fucking Kotaku, right? Like, I think at that point there was an opportunity to salvage the situation and to be better. I
totally agree.
And instead you're like, no, we're great.
Yeah, right? We fixed it. Don't worry. We fixed it. We're good.
Don't worry. Oh, don't worry about the dick slapper running around the office, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the other side of this. Like, if there are shitty dudes at your company who are fucking assholes, which there probably are because it's a huge company, feel free to fire them.
Yeah, just get fucking rid of
them. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about, like, I don't think everyone has the right to be heard here. Like, these poor guys are going to get fired because girls are not understanding the SJWs. Like, I think there is absolutely some gray area there. Of course there is. But if there's fucking assholes at your company who are harassing women, then fucking fire them.
Have clear rules.
Yeah.
And people that violate those rules get fucking fired. Yeah. Like, I don't... That's that's what's crazy to me, right?
Yeah.
Women, men, social justice, fucking, I don't even know what you call it, alt-writers, like whoever you got, have clear guidelines.
And they need to follow the rules.
And follow those fucking guidelines. Yeah. And everyone feels safer for it.
Yeah.
Everyone feels like there's expectations that are dependable and will be met.
And enforceable.
And
cut and dry.
Right? And I think Riot has gone this far. And, like I said, I know a few Riot employees and
I believe they're called rioters.
I know a few rioters and from things I've just heard in the past, and this is before any of this happened, right? Riot has always been very hands-off in conflict resolution. Yeah. Very much you guys kind of sorted out kind of company. Very much stay here we'll give you dinner, we'll give you lunch. Yeah. We got video games, stay at the company, right? Very much like just everyone just be here working all the time. We got movies and stuff, and figure out your problems. And if that's the case, then yes, this is what you breed.
Yeah,
right?
This is what's going to happen.
People get victimized in those environments because you allow them to be victimized. Mm-hmm. There's no oversight, and surprise, like that's what happens, right? And like I said, and this is one thing I told my friend too, like I applaud and I think it is important for employees to understand the contracts they've signed, the rules that are in place, the things they've agreed to, and to voice their concerns.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to say, these are what we find acceptable. This is what we find unacceptable.
Yeah.
I think the scary part is, I think the end of that road is, if you can't accept this and if they will not change this, then you need to leave. Yeah. Right? Like, I think that's the only power you have as an employee. And I think that's really where the shit's going to hit the pavement, because I don't think these people want to or willing to leave the company. Yeah. But like I applaud at least I applaud the idea of, we want to educate ourselves. We want to know what's happening in this company. We want to know what we've agreed to and the consequences of that. And we want to show you that this is what's important to us. Yeah. Right. And if we're important to you, you need to
I think that's the key right there, is like, it's not the employee-employer relationship is supposed to be one that's mutually beneficial. And I feel like that gets lost a lot. Like,
I feel like it's lost
there's
too.
Entitled employees and there's definitely entitled employers. Yeah. And what those two people need to realize is like, you need to be in agreement for this to work for both of you. And I know I'm not trying to be like, this isn't some weird out there concept. Guess what? If everyone's getting along, it's going to be better for everyone. It's fucking simple. Yeah. And like, if like you just said, if your system is not working, maybe it's really good at making money, but it's breeding resentment, fix it, man. Yeah, like, just fix it. And don't pretend to fix it because Kotaku called you out.
Honestly, I think it would be better to not fix it and not pretend than it would be to say you're fixing it and not fix it, right?
Yeah, that's not a war you're going to win.
Admitting what you are and just hiring a bunch of white asshole dudes and being like, that's who we are, we're that company, I think is fine. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. People aren't going to like it. Yeah. But I also think, like, that's a lot of companies. That's a lot of gaming companies.
And at least they're not lying about it.
At least you're not pretending, right? Yeah. But to pretend, we're this progressive, super friendly company that loves our rioters and, and then let people fucking, like, I bring up dick slapping, but it's because it's the most verifiable open story, right?
And that's a cut and dry example of, like,
it's so clear.
Dude, this is clear. Right? There's no gray area here. Yeah, don't be slapping dicks.
Yeah, like,
what you do behind, like, outside of work together, whatever, man. But
I can see the gray area in someone overhearing a conversation that was crude.
Yeah,
or,
I mean, there's debate there for sure.
Or a guy asking a girl out, or vice versa, and the advances aren't really wanted, and that isn't comfortable for either person. Like, I can see that those are like, that sucks, but
it'll never be super simple.
Yeah, like, that's not really like within our policy. It's funny, at our company when I started here, they said you can ask a girl out once.
Really?
Yeah. Don't ask her out twice. Like, that was kind of
that's interesting.
The rule, right? Like, it's fine if you want to ask an employee out
once.
Don't ask them twice.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And I don't think that's on the books. Yeah. But that's kind of like, no one's going to get in trouble for asking someone out to dinner, right? Yeah. But if you continue to ask someone out to dinner, like, that's on you. Yeah. Like, we told you, right? And and so I get that there's gray areas in that, right? Or
yeah, no, for sure. Nothing's simple.
But
even beyond, like, men and women, like, even just
I mean, the dick slapping was dude on dude.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like,
but even beyond that, like managers who get angry, for example, like even there's always gray areas. There's no simple solution. But I think a lot of it is being able to communicate, and I think really being able to feel like you're being heard. Mm-hmm. Like if you tell a dude, I don't want to go out with you. Please stop asking me. It's making me uncomfortable. And then he does it again. You need to be able to talk to your manager.
Yeah.
And the manager should not be like, I don't know, we'll figure it out. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, you need to have some accountability of, like, you need to be able to behave like an adult with each other. So if a dude's being a creep or a girl's being rude or whatever it is, you need to be able to be like, stop. You're making me uncomfortable. That's a conversation both people need to be able to have. But if that doesn't work, you need to be able to go up above.
Yeah, it's funny. I think, like, so one of my friends that used to be a writer was telling me, like, kind of a similar situation. She was a management level employee. And she had a conflict with someone on her team.
Yeah.
And when she would go to her boss to be like, how should we resolve this? She's like, in Riot, like, you guys need to kind of work out the situation on your own. That's kind of the policy here, right? So she would try to. They wouldn't get any resolution.
Right.
She went back to her boss and said, hey, like,
didn't work.
This didn't work. And the boss said, well, he talked to me, and this is what I'm going to say to you, right? And it's like, well, what happened? Like,
yeah, that's ugly.
Like that's not what we talked about, right?
Yeah.
But it's like that's because that system is fucking stupid. It doesn't work,
that's
right?
not a good system.
Because you're telling people that like the value is in like building relationships with people that are stronger than people around you, right? And leveraging those relationships to strong arm conflicts, right? And so
shocking that doesn't work. And that's where you create these kind of boys club moments where anyone, male or female, feels powerless when they're fighting against the clique, right? Yeah,
when they're fighting against the crew that always goes out to lunch, or you know what I mean? Like there's no way to fight against this group that is entrenched in themselves,
Totally.
And I, it's so easy to see how that gets so ugly and how people get taken advantage of.
Yeah, for sure. And I do think all this rational reporting about crunch and this sort of thing, I think it's good. And I think you're right that maybe the pendulum could swing too far in the wrong direction, and it could cause new problems. But overall, I think bringing this shit to light is good. And honestly, if Kotaku or whoever accuses you of being terrible, that's how you say it, and like you're not actually, great. Then just stop being keep being not terrible, and you're good. But if they're calling you out and then you freak out and you have to then that's a bad look, man.
It is a bad look.
So I guess it's like if you have nothing to hide and Kotaku writes an article about you because a couple employees are disgruntled. I'm not saying that's what happened, but if that did happen, let's say, and you're like, no, none of that's true. It's bullshit. Then great. What's the problem? There is no problem. Kotaku's just being clickbaity.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing to remember, right? Like.
Their job is to get people outraged. That's their job, and they're good at it.
Yeah,
like whether you say what you want about Kotaku, like
traffic.
They're a huge gaming website for a reason. So I don't even begrudge them. They're like, that's their job.
Yeah.
And your job is to either fix the problem if it's legitimate, and I think in this case, it clearly, there's clearly some problems that need to be solved. And don't look at it as an attack. Look at it as like, ooh, we screwed up. How can we fix it?
Yeah, there's opportunity in everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And I agree with you. And I think what you're saying is definitely correct, right?
Yeah.
And I do think that the beauty of pendulums, right, is that they always find their way back.
Yeah, and they always find the median.
They always.
It's just how many people are going to hit,
or how wide are we going to swing this thing, right? And I think the goal is to minimize the movement as much as you can
and the damage. But
these wide swings are going to happen. These pushes and pushes back are going to get more extreme as one side pushes on the other. You're only going to get a strong response when you've started at a strong place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like a pendulum. You got to be far back for it to swing the other side. Yeah.
Like you got to be a real piece of shit to develop a culture where people are violently attacking you for being a piece of shit.
Yeah, that is true. Otherwise, no one would care.
Yeah, like to bring it back to politics, right? It's like we only have these crazy Twitter people and I saw like a horrendous video of someone like stealing MAGA hats off old Chinese people. It was really sad, right? But you only get that because we have a shitty ass president, right? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think any of it's good. It all kind of grosses me out.
Yeah.
But you only have such hard swings, because you're starting at such an
extreme place.
You're starting ugly, so it's going to swing to ugly, right?
Yeah.
Like, And I think that's what you see in these companies, right? Where when these stories come out and it's not that ugly, you kind of get a little bit of movement.
Yeah.
And when these stories come out and it's like, oh, this must be a thing, it's because you really start to see that shit picking up speed.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, oh, something's going on.
And I can see how that'd be scary for these companies. But again, at the end of the day, like, just fix it. Make sure your people feel heard and are happy. Otherwise, they're going to fucking leave, and you're going to look bad, and you're going to lose money.
Yeah,
so
and
come
it's
on.
scary for employees.
Totally, yeah. And
right?
Exactly. It's not good for anyone. So fix it.
Yeah,
Just like you said, just be cool and listen.
Just be cool and listen. And
you'll keep printing fucking money.
And
that's the crazy part, too.
So
like,
crazy.
this is happening at the most successful companies. Everyone's extremely well paid.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't... Like it kind of makes you wonder what happens at these companies that are tiny. You know, we never even hear about them because they're not important enough. Like, that's kind of interesting to think about. But anyway, we'll see how it develops.
Yeah, we'll see how it develops. I mean, if I get any inside scoops, I'll share them.
Yeah.
But yeah, the situation right now seems worse than it did when I read that story.
Yeah.
But that is the one thing I will say from my conversations.
Yeah.
It seems worse, not better.
Yeah.
Like every conversation I have, it just seems to be escalating.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, that's not the right direction.
Yeah, I will tell you this. My friend I was talking to about this very thing was like, I wasn't going to participate in any of this. I wanted to stay out of it. And it's kind of just getting more and more hotter and hotter there.
Yeah.
Right?
Harder and harder to, like, keep your distance.
Harder and harder to just, like, stay out of it. Harder and harder. The more you get kind of dragged into these, like, town halls and, you know, it just gets more and more aggravated and more tense and scarier.
Yeah.
And I'm very sympathetic to how it must feel to be a Riot employee right now.
Absolutely. And you know, all these companies that are dealing with this, it's not fun.
It's not fun. It's a tough time. And I think what I said to her this morning too was just like, it's crazy how they've kind of become the like the linchpin of this thing.
Yeah, the lightning rod of
like they're probably not the worst of them. They're probably not the company it should be, right?
Yeah.
But they're the one it is, and
well, part of that's because they're the biggest.
Yeah, in some way. I mean, they're not the biggest games.
Well, no, but they're not. But they're up there. You know, like they are.
They're very large. But and I think a real issue with them is they're owned by Tencent. There's only so much they can do stateside, right? Like globally, a lot of this is not going to get
that's a good point.
dealt with.
That's
right?
a whole other subject. But that is true.
They're
dealing with a lot of things that they can't even talk about,
and a lot of people dictating decisions that aren't on the street, and you know what I mean.
That are not reading Kotaku.
And don't really understand what you mean when you say microaggression or sexism or you know what I mean.
No, absolutely.
All right, I think we're depressing enough with that one. It was not a happy story.
I don't think so.
It just wasn't a happy.
It's not a happy story, but I think the fact that people, like I keep saying, trying to be optimistic, the fact people are talking about it, and like you said, the pendulum's swinging, but like you said, the fact it's swinging all means it's gonna come to. Sunlight's the best disinfectant. It really is.
It's scary when things are moving.
And and like you said, I feel bad for the people that work there, and I hope you guys know, if any of you are listening, that's not normal, and you don't have to deal with that everywhere.
I don't know. You kind of do, but
well, maybe not. maybe not to that degree.
Not at that degree, right?
But and we'd love to hear anyone who's listening. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I know it's a complex topic, but that's what we do around here.
Things got to move for stuff to happen.
Exactly.
Right. For
it
changes.
Can't be a bad thing that these things are coming up at least.
Yeah, like you kind of got to have ugly stuff happen for good stuff to happen.
Yeah. Got to rip off the Band-Aid, as they say.
Yeah, but okay. Well, with that. We appreciate you guys listening. If you want to reach out to us, techyapodcast@gmail.com, techyapodcast on Twitter, on Facebook. On YouTube, you got to search for it because we don't have a custom URL.
But you can find it. You guys are good.
Yeah, you guys are pretty smart.
Thanks for listening. We love you guys, and we'll be back here next week.
Yeah, we love you all very much. Love each other, all right?
Yeah. Be cool. Be kind.
Be cool, everybody. And if you're a Riot CEO and you're listening,
be cool, bro.
Yeah, just be cool. Thanks, guys.